The first settlers of Easter Island had regular contact with the inhabitants of South America. New research shows that the first inhabitants of Easter Island had contact with people living in South America. This is evidenced by cultivated plants, some of which come from the continent approximately 3,700 kilometers away. Easter Island, called Rapa Nui in the local language, is one of the most isolated places on Earth. The nearest inhabited island in Polynesia is about 2,000 kilometers away, and the mainland, South America, about 3,700 kilometers away. This island located in the Pacific has an area similar to Katowice. It was discovered by Europeans only in 1722 on Easter Sunday, which is the source of its today's name. Rapa Nui has long been perceived as a place full of puzzles and secrets. It is associated primarily with monumental moai statues, which depict silhouettes of people with large heads. They have become a symbol of the island due to their very characteristic appearance. In a new paper appearing in the journal PLOS One, scientists from Chile and Sweden looked at food remains found on obsidian blades discovered at the archaeological site of Anaquina, the earliest known settlement on Rapa Nui, which was inhabited from approximately 1000 to 1300 CE. Analyses have shown that the first settlers on Rapa Nui ate a diet consisting of plants native to Polynesia, but also from South America. This suggests that the inhabitants of Easter Island had contacts with the people of South America 1,000 years ago, when Europeans arrived on Easter Island. Its inhabitants had already been there for hundreds of years. However, when and where they came from remains a mystery. Experts are not sure whether the first settlers came from Polynesia, South America, or both. To understand the history of early settlement on the island, researchers took an in-depth look at ancient food remains, based on animal bones found there. They knew that the island's early inhabitants ate fish, dolphins, seals, chickens and rats. As for the plants on their menu, scientists have not been able to say anything specific. In the new work, they analyzed starch residues found on obsidian blades discovered in the oldest sediments of the Anaquina site. 20 blades were brought to light in 1987. Starch serves as an energy store in plants. Plants store it in their cells in the form of microscopic grains or granules. Their shape and size depend on the species of plant they come from. A total of 46 starch grains were discovered on the obsidian blades, but due to their size and preservation method, only 21 of them could be classified. The analysis of starch grains was based mainly on the recording of the morphological features of these grains, which were compared with the morphology of starch grains from a reference set, originating from plants traditionally grown in the Pacific region, as well as from crops of South American origin. It turned out that starch grains come from several species of plants: jackfruit, Artocarpus altilis, taro, Colocasia esculenta, yam, Dioscorea sp, ginger, Zingiber officinale, sweet potato, Ipomoea batatas, beetroot, canna sp. Closing parenthesis, cassava, manihot esculenta, and yellow seed, Xanthosoma sp. Remains of trees were also identified: sweet plum, Spondius dulcis, and Tahitian chestnut, Inocarpus fagifer. In some cases, multiple species were found on a single blade, so researchers suggested that these tools were universal tools used for processing food. Yam and taro were not surprising because these plants had been previously identified on Rapa Nui, but the team's discovery of the jackfruit and plum fruit is new. None of these plants have been found on the island before. Just like ginger, which has never been found on such a remote island before. Jackfruit and plum are the staple crops of Polynesia. But research has identified crop species from the South American continent. Among them was the sweet potato, a species that had already been documented in archaeological contexts on other Pacific islands. Research has also shown that the presence of sweet potatoes on Rapa Nui dates back to a period long before the arrival of Europeans. In addition to sweet potato and cassava were also imported from South America. At least that's what researchers think. Our results show that before people lived at the Anaquina site, they went to the coast of South America and had contact with the local people, said Andrea Seelenfreund, co-author of the paper. We argue that travelers from Polynesia reached the coast of the American continent and interacted with the local population. At some point, they came back together with some American plants, which were then grown on various islands alongside traditional crops, she added. One of the survival strategies used by the ancestors of current peoples inhabiting the Pacific region between 3,000 and 1,000 years ago was the deliberate transportation of economically important animals and plants in boats. This strategy was of great importance, considering that the islands are very distant from each other and the further from the mainland, the poorer they are in natural resources. Scientists suggest that it is highly likely that there was continuous interaction between the peoples of Polynesia and South America almost 1,000 years ago. We must remember that long-distance ocean voyages were a well-developed skill of the Pacific Islanders, Seelenfreund said.